acknowledge Seth freaking Rollins.
Oh boy. Whoa, whoa.
This opening segment with the new Rollins faction featured a lot of glaze from Paul Heyman, as you'd expect, even acknowledging Seth Rollins like he used to do for Roman Reigns. They introduced Braun and Braun security and put them over too. But does anyone else feel like we've been here before? And I'm not just talking about the B&B security regen. In this promo, the crowd chanted, "You sold out, you sold out." Seth also gets called the future of this industry. Like, is this 2014? Also, it really might be 2014 because this felt so much like a 20-minute Authority promo from those times. Seth continues by saying he's gonna win Money in the Bank and secure the future through power, control, and domination. So yeah, it's 2014. And while I do like this story so far, it is distractingly similar to 2014. I also fear it may be time for Seth to get rid of the theme. Not because it isn't a banger, it's brilliant, but it doesn't really make sense for his character anymore. For me, this would be the perfect time to see him become the Messiah again. Because right now, hitting all your catchphrases and the crowd singing your song, but then you say, "Shut up, crowd," you hypocrites, feels a little convoluted. But that's essentially all this promo was. It just established them further as a faction. And I think a key part of establishing this faction as more than just Seth Rollins Glazers is gonna be in allowing Braun to speak. And allowing Braun to speak. Well, I'd love to see Braun speak next week is my point. Next, we had the Money in the Bank qualifier, Chad Gable, Penta, and Dragon Lee, which saw a pretty sleek counter from Chad Gable into a Northern Lights suplex.
No, most of them agree with me. Oh, wow! Chad Gable bridging cover.
But we also saw this very scary botch moment where Chad lands on his neck.
Now, what the... Oh my goodness, Chad Gable dropped right on his face.
I know he's like a baby Angle, but he doesn't need to win Money in the Bank with a broken freaking neck. But words can't describe how much this match cooked.
Targeting him, and here comes Lee! Holy hell! Shit!
At this point in the match, Vikingo was at ringside, who of course will face Chad Gable at Worlds Collide in a couple of weeks. Gable starts to attack Vikingo and then back in the ring.
The power of this man with a German suplex! Up top rope, moonsault to Penta.
Gable is seemingly about to win before Vikingo gets his revenge, allowing Penta to qualify for Money in the Bank.
Kingo gets involved. Vikingo and a Penta driver. Penta's going to Money in the Bank.
Penta is going to be insane in mitb. And it is such a shame that Kevin Owens is on the shelf right now, because imagine the interactions that those two guys could have. Imagine Penta Michinoku driver to Kevin Owens on the ladder like Sami Zayn did.
Right onto the ladder, the Michinoku driver bending Owens in half.
You already know that boy Kevin Owens loves doing stuff like that for the love of the game. Moving on, we saw Liv Morgan return to the Judgment Day Clubhouse.
Konnichiwa, bitches! I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's awkward. Liv says she's got a qualifying match for Money in the Bank, but she's been watching and she hears everything.
And some things I found to be very interesting.
Then Akira Tozawa, unlucky little bro.
Now locked into Tozawa. Rusev looking to torture Tozawa here. The official Jessica Carr.
But then after the match, Sheamus showed up to save Tozawa from more punishment. We're gonna see a League of Nations reunion in the form of these two going at it. And for as much as I feel like Rusev still has a ceiling on him in WWE, which is a shame, I equally think this feud could slap. At least one match could slap, and it's gonna be great to finally move on to a real opponent for Rusev. But I get it. They're telling the story of this bully in Rusev. He's come back, he thinks he can throw his weight around, and Sheamus is here to save the day. Then we see Kathy Kelly with Burt Kreischer and Tom Segura.
Back, and Tom, you've been a little critical of WWE in the past, so what brings you out tonight?
Oh, well, yeah, I've said some stupid things in my life.
Tom Segura has been critical of WWE in the past, for anyone wondering what he said. Here it is a while ago. Burt then plugs his special on Netflix and does this with the Viking Raiders.
We're brothers. It's like looking in the mirror, right?
Hey, fire us up, huh? Fire us up! Fire us up!
War! 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 War!
Does anyone else feel like we're going back to that 2009 celebrity host era of Raw a little? Like, I don't have a problem with a celebrity cameo. I liked when Speed showed up, when KSI was RKO'd on SmackDown, when Kai Cenat was here. And I absolutely love every time Vanessa Hudgens is on screen because you can genuinely tell that she is a fan. But clearly part of this Netflix deal is needing to plug and cross-promote comedians and other celebrities and Netflix shows. And while I get it, it's a business, okay? I understand. WWE are now a part of a larger Netflix family, and on a larger scale, they're a part of this TKO family. I get it. Sometimes it's not all bad. Sometimes business is just business. But it does beg the question when too much is too much, when too far is too cringe. I imagine a lot of people probably don't want celebrities being involved in segments again. Be in the crowd, do your waving to the camera and promotion, and let's get back to it, you know? But hey, maybe I'm just not the target audience, so I'll pass the question off to you. Do you want to see more celebrities involved in WWE, or do you think, hey, let's dial it back? What do you think? Then before the triple threat tag title match, there was a brief backstage segment with Jey Uso saying he's got Sammy's back.
I got your back, Uso. You know this. All right?
Then it was time for the New Day defending the gold against American Made and Viking Raiders, where they retain after a great match.
What? Oh my God, Julius Creed coming off Xavier, who rolls up Creed. He's got the tights and
Then there was a backstage run-in where Liv says she's gonna win Money in the Bank again in a confrontation with Io Sky and Kairi Sane.
Let's have a match tonight.
You're on.
And I gotta say, I am all the way here for more Kairi Sane promos backstage, in the ring, more attitude from Kairi. I like that little thing she did where she was like, huh? That's right. Have you clicked the subscribe button yet?
I know what you're capable of. Not overlooking you, Uso. I know you in and out, man. Okay? I'ma see you in Phoenix.
This Jey Uso Gunther promo was pretty solid. I feel like upon rewatching it, Jey lost himself midway and got it back, but it was nice to be able to see him say, okay crowd, enough yeet, let me spit for a minute. And most of what he was saying added layers to the feud, which I can appreciate. It'll be very interesting to see how that all goes down on June 9th and at Money in the Bank with this story. Then it was time for the Money in the Bank qualifier, Liv Morgan versus Kairi Sane, which eventually sees Roxanne come down to ringside.
with the official, Roxanne Perez just shoved Kairi Sane off the top rope to give Liv Morgan an advantage.
And this all ends up in Roxanne and Raquel arguing as Liv gets rolled up by Kairi for the win.
And try to help Morgan, who goes for Oblivion. Kairi Sane, though, shoulders are down. In the win.
Then after a Rhea Ripley promo where she says she's gonna be Mommy in the Bank, Vikingo and Gable get into it again until Styles attacks Gable.
Interfere in my match ever again. I'm not just gonna put you back on the floor. I'm gonna put you through the concrete. You're bleeding.
And then Vic Joseph was on the commercial break, to which I say, oh, wait a minute, Vic, what you doing Monday Night Raw, Vic? He basically says Trick Williams is the new TNA champion. They're really making a big deal out of it, in case you didn't know. He's the TNA world champion. They said that quite a lot. Then seemingly things are going Io Shirai in the Judgment Day clubhouse.
You know, Raquel, I can't believe I have to say this, but you were the veteran out there. You should have known better.
Wait, güerita.
My favorite thing about every single Judgment Day segment right now is the Finn Balor subplot in the back. This guy is cheesing at the idea of this group's downfall, and it's hilarious. Lyra Valkyria cuts a promo saying she's facing Becky again at Money in the Bank. Becky did what Becky did best and wormed her way into another title shot despite losing twice already.
Person, she's like a rat with a piece of cheese, and I just couldn't let her do it. But she came out here and she got in my fiance's face and she tried to take my eye out and then she tried to break my arm. So yeah, now it's personal.
Becky says she's the best thing that's ever happened to Lyra and the title.
Because I went home with my hot husband and you went off to the hospital with your weird little fiance.
Oh, your hot husband. You mean the only talented thing about you.
Lyra says it's only because I beat you why you're being like this. And Becky says, if you can beat me again, I'll never challenge again.
When I win at Money in the Bank, when I win fair and square, you have to look me in the eyes and raise my hand.
I feel like this match would benefit from a stipulation, to be honest. But hey, maybe we'll get one, I don't know. Then we see Sammy run in with Karrion Kross once again.
Well! Here we are again, Sammy. You're still trying to claw your way to the top.
when you could have just took the deal, went to SmackDown, and challenged for the WWE Championship. No! You gotta do it your way!
3 more iconic Karrion Kross moments this summer, and I'm getting a cardboard cutout of him for the background, I swear.
Hey, Sam! You know you're never gonna win the title, right?
Say it ain't so, cuz.
I'll deal with you later.
I really like what they're doing with this story. Karrion is slowly working his way into Sammy's head, and he's been doing it for months now, and I'm glad they're continuing with it. I think a Karrion Kross corruption is about to happen sooner rather than later, and it may just work into the world title picture.
Went for the coup de grace. Sammy rolled out of harm's way. Stopped by Rollins. Haluva kick by Zeb. And a Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
The main event between Rollins, Balor, and Zayn eventually saw chaos descend as it usually does, with Jey Uso coming out of the crowd to take out Airbnb security.
Oh, and a massive spear!
But as you would expect, it is a banger main event between 3 of the very best. Everything is just so goddamn clean and crisp. You can tell they have the best chemistry between 3 of the very best to ever do it. And then Dirty Dom introduces a steel chair with a terrible slide, and this happens.
The steel chair, stop! Stop by Rollins! Dominic introduced it.
And then just when you think the show was over, Chicago Phil channels his inner Simpsons with a hit and run.
Go to sleep, Rollins!